अर्ज है, फुटपाथ पे बेचने वाला भी करोड़पति बनना चाहता है। फुटपाथ पे बेचने वाला भी करोड़पति बनना चाहता है। फर्क इतना है, वो मौका नहीं, मेहनत भी खरीदना चाहता है। I'm going to speak about the invisible entrepreneurs of India. I think we see them on footpath. I come from Bombay. I see them daily outside my university. I see them on Kolaba Causeway, Dadar Market. And I think India mein 90% of the economy is administered by the informal workers, right? And I am speaking facts. These informal workers contribute 90,000 crore to the economy every year. 14% of urban employment generated, and 1,000 crore in bribe. I was very happy looking at the TEDx speeches. Now I am partially happy and a little anxious because I also see honorable guest being a municipal commissioner. With all due respect, this data is something that can actually sponsor Pakistan's whole trip to Dubai for a weekend. There is a very good book, The Politics of Urban Space, for those who want to indulge into understanding how the informal economy operates in India. And out of this, I am fascinated by talking about street entrepreneurs. We call them hawkers because they encroach on the private space, public space. But if we legalize them, imagine the numbers that I shared with you can actually bring about change. I am not here to romanticize their poverty or struggle. I am not trying to politicize the issue. Being an educator, being a researcher, in short, being a social scientist, I have actually ensured that street entrepreneurs are also talked about. Currently, in our cultural relationship with them, we also talk about buying and selling, right? हम लोग खरीदते हैं, बेचते हैं, negotiate करते हैं, and I think most of the ladies are the best economists in the world. कितने में दिया? 50 में. She will make sure he sells it at 25. Otherwise, she is not moving out. I think they are the naturally born economists. Does not mean men can be underestimated. But this is something that most of the business schools also don't talk about. The problem is that we are little reactive than proactive when it comes to bringing about change. Isn't it? It took 7 decades of India's independence and India becoming a republic, where the government finally initiated the reforms, the Street Vendors Act. This act is very important because it creates recognition of their existence. And I think every street vendor is not just a seller, they are also a storyteller. They can teach you business in a way that I think most of the business schools actually today cannot teach. And most of the business teachers in business schools have no idea of entrepreneurship because they have never done business. I'm not telling you tomorrow become a vada pav seller, momo seller. But if I tell you their income, some of you will be truly gaslighted. In China, there's a very beautiful saying. when you just walk for a mile, it can teach you thousands of things or the wisdom that I think hundreds of books cannot tell. And in our current education system, we always emphasize on education, theoretical education, but not on the pragmatic side of the education. Do you agree with me? I don't see yes. Right? So there are some tough questions which I want to address. I'm not here to trigger or provoke. But I'm here to initiate a conversation, to initiate a dialogue, to ensure that we collaborate with them. Just because street vendors are not on LinkedIn, just because they don't post on LinkedIn, just because they are not on social media, does not mean they don't exist. Currently, हमारे perspective में, scholars are always formalized. जब भी when the schools, colleges, or universities organize master classes or live projects, we always invite people with the blazers. But we never invite Fafda wala, Jalebi wala in the class to actually teach us business. Which means there is a problem in our perception, in our culture, isn't it? And I did something revolutionary. This is not a student. Street vendor. This is my student who interned with the street vendor. I changed the way we tell the story in the class, and I think that is very important. Right? When we bridge the gap between haves and haves not, when we bridge the gap between privilege and grit, when we bridge the gap between boardroom and stalls, we actually revolve. And this is the evolution I'm talking about. So I sent my students to intern with the street vendors for 3 weeks, and it changed everything about them. Because this is where they actually feel how entrepreneurship is built, not through textbooks, but through negotiation skills, empathy, resilience, and adaptability. We talk about it, but when we practice it, I think it changes everything we do it. This is another example which I mean to tell you. And I'm not here telling that formal internships don't matter. I'm not here to condescend or degrade that formal education does not matter. But the cities today are not designed to include the street vendors in the relationship that matters on a daily basis. And before I end, here's my another last शायरी. अर्ज है, पसीना गिरता है तो रोटी बन जाती है. पसीना गिरता है तो रोटी बन जाती है. अगर हिम्मत ना हारो तो किस्मत भी झुक जाती है. I wish you all the best. Thank you.